Hi, welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're making fried apple pies. So let's start with your apples. You're going to take 1 can of apples. You can use real apples if you wish to, but I use a can because I prefer it. It's a lot faster and easier. To this, you're adding 2 teaspoons of cinnamon sugar, a fourth a cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And before you say it, yes, that looked like I put more in there than I should have, but I like vanilla extract, so I add a little extra. Mix it up thoroughly, make sure everything is combined, and then you're going to take this to your stove and heat it until the apples are soft enough to stick a fork through them easily, or a knife, or whatever you want to use to test them. Now, to work with the crust, you're going to take 2 cups of flour. To this, you're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of sugar, 1 stick of butter cut up into small pieces, and then a fourth of a cup of shortening. Once you get this all together, you want to actually take a fork and work it through until you break up the butter and the shortening and everything is combined together and there are no large lumps of butter in it at all. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to want to scrape your sides to make sure you have no lumps of butter stuck to them. As I said, you need to break the butter up thoroughly. It takes a few minutes, but just keep working your way through. You'll get it mixed in. It'll be pretty obvious when you've gotten to a point where your butter is broken up. There won't be any lumps, and it'll just be little slivers of butter, and that's fine because it's going to combine with your flour and your other ingredients. So when it's time to put the milk in, it'll mix better, as into making it a solid mixture, and there won't be any lumpiness to it. So when you're ready to put in your milk, pour about half of it in at first and then mix that into what you have in the bowl. It's just easier to mix it in stages, and that way you don't over pour your milk, because if you put too much milk in, it's going to be way too wet. You just want to control how much is going in. Like with this, by the time I was done, I had just enough in there with the 1 cup of milk. So stir it through thoroughly, make sure everything is combined together and that there is no dry powder in the bottom of your bowl. Next, you're going to take something, some kind of board, whatever you mix on, pour flour on it. Also flour your rolling pin. You kind of want to make sure that nothing sticks to this. And then what we're going to do is take out a little bit of the batter, crust mixture, whatever you want to call it, put it on top of the flour, coat it with a little flour from your board so that way it doesn't stick to your hands or to the roller, and then you're going to roll this out into a decently sized oval. You don't want to make them jumbo large. The ones I make are pretty decently large, and out of the can of apples you can get about 5 of these. If you make them smaller, you can make 6 or 7 of the fried apple pies, and they're a little bit easier to control when they're smaller. But as you can see, I have rolled this out, and then after I have it completely smooth, I'm going to take apple and put onto it. Just make sure your apples have cooled. You don't want to take these straight off the stove and burn your fingers while you're doing this, because you will burn your fingers. And you're going to take part of the dough and flip it over top. And then you can use a fork or even your fingers to push down the edges to make them stick together, because you want to make sure that it's solid so your ingredients don't come out too much. they will seep out. It does happen. So you're going to take a frying pan now, put oil in the bottom, and get it hot. You don't want to put these in until it's heated up, and then you can put a couple of these in at a time and let them cook. And you can actually just peek underneath to see if it's browning and if there is an actual cooking going on. You want to see a brown edge. When you see that, then you can flip them, and you just want to flip these over a couple of times, and it only takes a few minutes to see that both sides are browned thoroughly. And then when you're done, you're going to have a golden coating on the outside of it. And these are amazing. They're served by themselves or with ice cream. They're really great. And this is what you see in the end. I sprinkle cinnamon sugar on the outside to give it that little extra kick of sweetness. And then this is the finished thing. And they are amazing. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one. Have a great one.